Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
What's up? What's up, friends? Welcome back to the TV Terminal. My name is Adam Vale, senior editor over at thecoalition.com.
And my name is Josh Lamage, writer for the Coalition. How's everybody doing today?
I hope they're okay. I hope they're having a good old time or whatever day they're watching this.
Enjoying this 4th of July week.
Right? This is it. We get some time off. I don't know if I'm going to do anything.
You get some time.
Yeah, I know. You're always busy doing stuff, but me running around with the kids are off school. So I'm sure a lot of people listening are like, oh, yeah, I know what that's like. Got to find things for them to do. Don't know what I'm going to do 4th of July. But I know what I just did, same as you, and that is watch Revival, Season 1, Episode 4, Run Little Lamb. There was no guessing. Yeah. Run along, my bad. Run along, Little Lamb. And we found this out early. That line was said by Blaine early on. So sometimes with these titles, you have to like figure it out, or it's said in passing. But here, no, it was front and center.
I like the way they do it, because some shows make it like kind of cliche, and then some are just like they put it subtly. And each episode has kind of been different. Like sometimes someone will say it, and then sometimes it's insinuated, or like it's like a pun. Like the last one was like check. Or was it something with check? And it was like, oh,
reality check.
Yeah, reality check. I was like, oh, okay.
And yeah, we're trying to be like, oh, okay, well, that could be anything in life, but it turns out it was related to the family, the Check family. So there we go. But anyway, real quick housekeeping. Thanks again for all the listens, the subscribes, the comments on the multiple platforms, especially here on YouTube. We're trying to get this to grow. This is a new channel. You know, we've done some other projects before and other things, but this is all new people. So if you're into the Revival, or you're into any of the other shows that we mentioned in the description, as well as Mobland, which got approved for season 2, that's great. I'm excited for that. Murderbot, myself and Lawrence are covering that one. I think we're going to be covering Dexter, and we got a few other shows that we want to do. So if you're into these things, please give us a subscribe and just join along. We have a bunch of people that are always commenting on these shows and coming up with ideas and theories, particularly with Murderbot too, because that's based off a book, a whole book series. And Revival, it's so interesting. I brought it up like 2 episodes back, but again, it just keeps coming up. People ask me, they're like, what is this? And I was like, it's from the comic. I thought that a lot of people read that comic series. I know it was very popular at the time, 2012, 13, around then. But a lot of time has passed. I get it. It's not in the zeitgeist. And so
I think it comes down to 2 things right now, at least with this show, is that I feel like I haven't seen any promotion. I mean, I'm sure they have promotion, but I feel like it's been kind of quiet. So it's one of those shows that I think is really going to spread through word of mouth. And I'm sure there's a bunch of people that read this comic years ago, totally forgot about it probably, and they would probably love to, jump back into that world.
So. Oh, yeah. Well, when it comes to promotion, same thing. I haven't seen much, but when episode 1 dropped on Peacock, it was front and center on Peacock. If you load up Peacock, that was like the first thing, at least that I saw. So I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. It's popping up. But yeah, at least you guys know if you stumbled across this and like, oh, are they talking about this episode? Yeah, we're covering the whole season. Right. So that's what the Terminal is all about. We pick a show or a few shows, and then we run through them. Weekly shows, avoiding the Bing shows. There was just Squid Game. Watch that. I just flew right through it. We'll talk about that.
I haven't watched that yet.
Oh, you haven't watched that one?
Oh, no.
Oh man,
I have a student that's like obsessed with it. He's like 6. It's kind of crazy that
6.
He's watching this show, and I'm like, oh, like, and he's like, yeah, and he knows all the characters by name, and I'm like, this is wild. But
my son walked in
Fortnite, so
it's funny. He walked in, and whenever he walks in, if I'm watching something that he shouldn't be watching, I just turn it off. But I took it to the menu outside of and Netflix, and then you'll see the little logo of the helmet. They have the symbols and stuff like the square and triangle, and he was like, oh, that guy's in Fortnite. So I was like, oh, so he knows of it because of Fortnite. But,
they know Fortnite, Call of Duty, Roblox.
Oh man, you see, just mark it, put it everywhere. I guess that's what they do. But anyway, yeah, that's what we're about. So if you're into it, then please give us a like and subscribe. Join us in the comments, and let's jump into it. Because this, I mean, I'll just we've talked about it before. Some of the names, and one of them that we were looking forward to seeing, and sort of get a good, maybe a short scene, but a scene
little
cameo. CM Punk, he pops up. That was a big name. I'm sure that's going to make the rounds once this episode is about to air. So maybe they'll talk about it on Raw or SmackDown or something like that, just to promote it up. But yeah, there we go. CM Punk gets into. So if you haven't watched it yet, we are going to spoil this entire episode. We're going to do a full rundown. So let's get started. Boom.
All right, we get Aaron's wife sleeping in the living room. Midday, it seems.
This a nightmare moment. I'm sure people watching this was like, yeah, this is a nightmare moment. You don't want during the afternoon where you think, it's afternoon, it's fine. Oh no, someone breaks in.
I mean, like realistically, probably the worst time to break in, but then I guess it works in their advantage because her husband is at work because he's a teacher, so he'll most likely a professor. He'll most likely be at work during this time, so it's planned out.
Well, there you go. But then that plants a seed that whoever broke in knows their schedule.
100%.
Right, definitely knows.
So basically, what happens here is that she's sleeping, and we see this masked individual walk past her, all creepy, goes into Aaron's office, and you see him take a hard drive out. Now, at first, I was thinking, okay, maybe he was finding something incriminating against Aaron, and maybe he is. Later on in the episode, I'm not too sure if they're in cahoots with each other, and maybe he was trying to protect something. I don't know. But then directly after this, she wakes up. She goes to follow him or see what the commotion is because she's looking for her husband. And she gets scared because I guess she sees like his silhouette. And then it cuts to, I guess, the reporter in her car. And we see that same USB drive in the seat of her car. So it's like, if you're trying not to incriminate yourself, why would you give this to a reporter? So I don't know.
So I'm wondering, I mean, this episode, a lot of things were coming together in this episode. There's definitely tying the knots. So it's making sense. But one of the other things that we see during this whole scene here, and this is all taking place before the intro, is that we get to see this masked man's face and it's all burnt up. Now, you brought up the idea of like, oh, this is the guy that was in the furnace in episode 1 that was going to get cremated, right? That's what you were getting at?
I was thinking that because like he was dead in the furnace. They burned his body. So whatever happened to your body like directly before revival stays on you.
Yeah.
So who else did we see freaking out and stuff? And then realistically, it makes more sense because it's coming back to him. And then something happened to him that day. But I mean, then why would he die too? And what's he protecting now that he's, So there's a lot of things, but it seems like him. It seems like him.
Could be. It could be, or unless the person was already disfigured. But I doubt that. That's a stretch.
No, but at the same point, that guy came out all burned, and then where did he go?
He went to Arby's. I don't know. He was like, I was on my way to Arby's, get something to eat, and then somebody grabbed me. Because that's the other thing. How did he die? How did this happen? Well,
I think that's something we'll probably find out.
Yeah, there's a few more mysteries. Yeah.
So we finally get a name for the bartender, which was cool. Nella.
Yeah, we'll go with Nella. Yeah.
So Nella's walking outside the bar and she finds a flip phone on the ground that belonged to M. And for some reason, I guess the curiosity.
And people, if you hear this, please, if you remember, what's the time period for all this? Because a flip phone, we saw later on with Punk on a payphone. It's just something about it. And then even when we see later on with Dana getting ready for the date with Ibrahim, just the outfit, I don't know, something tells me this is what, early 90s, maybe?
We don't, especially the kids.
Not early, I should say mid.
Especially the kids aren't playing with any like electronic devices. You see them just playing with toys and stuff.
But we're seeing, yeah. It's got to be somewhere during that time period, because the phones here just look like phones, like back in the day when it was just all they were good for was for getting phone calls. There was
Yeah.
no. I don't even think if I remember right, because
It seems
I'm
like
pretty old.
2006 or
Yeah,
7.
I had a OmniPoint, I had a Motorola, I had some old ones. There was no
Razor phone.
texting at the time. It was all phones. That's it. Just getting a call, seeing a message, voicemail, stuff. And we don't see anyone really looking things up. We'll see them doing that in front of a computer in the office precinct and stuff, but not on the phone. So
Which brings back
definitely,
that social media conversation that we had previously, whereas like if this happened in today's world, this would be all over like TikTok and YouTube
yeah,
and things
yeah,
like that, and people would be freaking out and trying to break into the quarantine, I think. So I think in some way like there's a limited um bubble around this place, and that would be social media and technology in
yeah,
this. So
yeah.
that would make the most sense to me. That's a good point. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, no, something's going on. Something's going on.
But they find M's phone, and Nella calls Dana and tells her this whole thing. So Dana walks in and finds M with Rhodey, and she's like, "Why didn't you tell me that you were sleeping with your professor?" Right off the bat, crazy.
Uh, yeah, and then I'm upset about that. She's like, "I knew you were going to try to solve my murder, but do you have to invade my privacy?" I don't know if that was intended to be funny, but come on now. She's investigating. She said it. She's a cop. She's got to put two and two together, and that is a big piece of
That's a
information.
huge piece of information.
Yeah, it's like, come
That's the
on
whole murder
now.
right there, possibly. Yeah.
Exactly. It's like, oh yeah, and the no, but he couldn't have done it. What do you? I mean, the rest of this episode pretty much revolves around the professor.
Yeah.
Marianne and the skipper too, all of them. And so we're like, that is a big part of this. So it's just kind of comical that she's like, well, what are you doing snooping around my phone? Well, trying to solve this murder. And
It's that
yeah,
weird coincidence of like you, or I guess in the situation, like having a sister that's solving your murder, and
yeah.
also like trying to hide things from your own family. It's
Oh,
crazy.
what was it? I wrote it down. Rhodey's comment. Was it you do you, babe? Or something
Yeah,
like that.
he said some funny things. I liked when she said, "Is he a fling?" And he goes, "No, I'm Rhodey."
Exactly. Oh, that's a good one. That was a good line, right? Because she said that the whole thing with the professor was a fling.
Yeah.
That wasn't. It's like, well, of course he's married. What else would it be unless she took it to that next level and was like, "You have to leave her. You're with me."
Well, she
Uh,
referenced an ex before, so and I always thought that the ex was her talking about the professor.
yeah,
But I
that's what I
guess
thought.
I don't know. But so Dana's like, all right, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna. Oh, she asked her like, what did you, any new updates? And she's like, I saw Blaine. M didn't say that she saw Blaine. She said she saw the guy that was all over the news. And then Dana's like, oh, you saw
That
Blaine.
was in the last one of the last scenes in the last episode when they jumped off the bridge and she fell back and with the
Yeah,
water and they were doing that whole water effect and we're seeing that a lot even in this episode. She's getting certain things are triggering bits and
like
pieces of
flashbacks and stuff.
of what took place then. So yeah, she saw Blaine and they're like, all right, well, Dana says that, well, I'm gonna go do what I do as a cop. I'm gonna go and talk to him. And M's like, no, I want to come along. It's like, no, you're staying here. Now, this is where we'll bring this up later because this is at Dana's house, right? They're waiting for Cooper because she says,
Yeah.
you're going to stay here. It'll be great when Cooper comes home to see you. Is he coming home by himself or who are you? Someone picking? I don't know. I don't know how that whole thing works
They
out,
never
but
follow up with it. So
they never follow up with it, but it says that. And of course, she leaves. Dana leaves, and clearly just says, "Well, we're leaving too." It's like, what? I thought I was going to meet your nephew. No, you're not hanging out with my nephew, and we're leaving. We're going to go follow.
now I
Her.
thought I thought that they would be like doing like kind of like a stealth thing, like hiding behind and just watching. Like they just the next scene they just show up next to her.
Oh
Like they're
yes,
like,
yes,
"Hey,
yes.
we followed you. We didn't listen to you." So they pull up to like a garbage
I,
yard, or like a scrap yard.
it looks, yeah, it's a scrapyard, but what's up with the two guys with rifles? Standing guard. How bad is this area? We
Well, what
know.
I'm perceiving from Blaine is that he's highly influential, obviously with everything. He has followers, he has people. He seems like I thought that he was for the revivers in some weird way, like he was like sympathetic and understood them, and now it seems like he's against them in things. So maybe he's just guarding himself because he has a whole following of people that probably are against him. What do you think?
So you think that's all new? You think that's a new development of having his guys there with guns that normally they would just be working in the scrapyard, but times have changed,
Also,
and they're getting paranoid about the revivers. So they're like, you know
yeah,
what? Let's pack. I can go with that. I'll go with that.
because we see later on. I mean, we'll come back to it, but we see later on that he's, you know, speaking out in like a podcast radio station thing and going against the grain with the reviver message. So
Yeah. Because I mean, Dana shows up at this place, says she wants to see Blaine. They're like, you can't do it, blah blah blah. You know, they're playing tough guy thing, which is weird because she's law enforcement, and yeah, you need a warrant and all that, but small town, still under quarantine. Come on now. But he comes out and he tells them put their guns down, and then he just starts babbling on some spiritual higher power type of speech. I was like, oh great, so is this one of those semi-cult leader type of situations?
yeah, he said if the Lord deems her unworthy, he will smite her down.
I don't think that's how that works. I mean, what
But
lightning or what? Come on now.
Emma's really upset. She's like, "Well, what did you do to me?" He's like, "Well, I got called in to get this car that somebody left on the side of the like by the bridge on the side of the road. So I was gonna bring it back to Alonzo's, and
Alonso's, yeah.
and you know, and they're like, "Well, Blaine, what else did you see?" And he was like, "Well, I saw that she was pretty high."
Yeah. So she was pretty high. She was on the bridge alone. Dana was like, "You don't find that suspicious?" Like, no. It's like, what else? I mean, like I just said, she's high. Most people when they get high want to do it outside of the public eye. And there you go. It's at night on the bridge. Later on, we find out a little more detail of
Well, he did
why
say
she's on the
something.
bridge.
He did say something that was very interesting. He said, there was an explosion and you saw it and you heard it. There was a light,
Explosion, yeah, bright light in the woods. E.T.
bright
phone
light in the
home,
woods.
right? Bright light in the woods. Hmm. That was we didn't see that. That would be cool if we saw like just a glimpse of just a bright light in the woods, but no, we don't know. So maybe
Yeah.
they'll bring that up later on.
Well, we do see something later that
Yes,
hints towards that.
we do.
But yeah, he says like "Run along, little lamb," which is you know, the episode. The end of
Mhm.
days are near, and then
Yeah,
his. I'm sorry.
no, I was gonna say because he gets right in her face
Oh
with the
yeah,
whole thing. He was like, "You know what you saw. You know what's going on." But at the same time, I'm believing him at least in regards that he had nothing to do with her death because she was like, "What did you do to me?" I didn't do anything.
it
I
seemed like
went,
it.
found the car. I was there to tow, and that's what I did. And I towed it, and it's done.
But the thing is, he always happens to be in the places of, like, at first when I first saw him, I was like, he's some mystical dude. Like, what's going on? But then he happens to be in in the spot that involves everybody at some point. Like,
Mm.
he's always in the woods. He's always somewhere. You know.
All right, so the woods right now, this makes sense because as we find out, Alonzo sent him out there to find this car that was ditched, right? To go get. We get that. But what we don't know is from what we saw with the last episode, how did he end up in the garage of the precinct with the baby? That we don't know. That, like you said, he just pops up and happens to be in the right place, right time. So that's one of those situations. But with this, it makes sense. Right place, right time. Doesn't really care that he sees her out there. He doesn't seem to be the concerning type. But then again, he said M looked high. Maybe if she didn't look high, he would have pulled up and said, "Hey, you okay? Everything all right?" But he decided not to, and maybe things would have been different. We wouldn't have had a show if he did, because he was like, "Get in the car, let's go. I'm bringing you back home."
He also says something like, because I guess the guards looked like they wanted to like approach or like take her out or something, and then he was like, "Yeah, her time will come, not now, soon, but not now."
I didn't get that. I didn't get that.
It's like he knows something.
I think he was because they know. Yeah, yeah. I mean, they know that she is a reviver, right? I'm assuming they know. Yeah, 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 no, yeah,
Yeah.
because they heard it. They heard the whole conversation. So
But
they,
But Emma's like, Dana, like, come on, like let's arrest him. Let's get, like, you know, she's like, first I would need a warrant, and let's play this by the books. Like, let's do this the right way. And I understand M's frustration is that, like, she just wants to know how she died, you know, and she feels like it's just a small town. The quarantine's not gonna last forever.
well, it's
You're
gonna,
trying to narrow down your suspects quickly, and she's gun ho for this right now.
Well, if I remember right after this is where we get like this little montage type of thing where we hear over the radio of the whole process of the IDs and the revivers having to check in, right? And they get the
Yeah.
little clips, from an officer as proof that they've been checked in on whatever date, and also that if you see anyone or anyone that's a reviver, your job is to report them. And
Report them. Jobs and places have a sign that there's a reviver on presence on the
yeah, on
premises.
a process. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Things are getting interesting with that, but then I guess it makes sense. It's a small community, right? That's what they keep saying. Small town. They don't say population size, but
And they're scared.
they're scared.
They're
Yeah,
scared.
and it's still under quarantine, so I guess it makes sense that at least they're not wrangling them all up and putting them in a camp as was suggested, by Wayne in the last episode. But they're still allowed to live home. But at least if they can figure out who they are, what's going on, just in case they see something out of the norm, like an Arlene situation. That
It
that
makes
was
sense. It
that was
makes
out
sense
there.
because we don't know what could happen, and they just want to know. They just want to know. I
Yeah,
mean, it kind
I
of sucks
want
the
to
way that they're
know.
approaching it, of course, because
Well,
these
it's
people are
never going
still
to be easy.
conscious. Yeah, it's
It's
not.
never. There's no right way. That's just the truth. There's no right way because it's like if you say no, we're not going to do anything. We'll just do random checks. That's not going to work.
Which
It's
leads
like
to the next thing where it's like Wayne somehow shows up. Um, somehow shows up and sees goes to Rhodey's house. I don't know how he knows that Dana's there, or
yeah, well, that's where I was gonna bring up because I don't remember. I thought maybe they went back to the house waiting for Cooper. I mean,
because
Cooper's
that's
still
the
coming
same room
home.
with the couch and the stuff on the floor and
Yeah,
the rock
in
stuff
the
in the
window
back.
when she woke up, and when she woke
Yeah,
up, yeah.
and
So
and then
she's
Wayne was like, "Oh, light a candle in here."
yeah, yeah. Didn't like the
Oh,
smell.
that's why. That's why, because he knows that Rhodey's a reviver, and he went to his premises to stamp him. That's why.
What makes you wonder now? Do they smell like the dead?
I
Like they're
think he
rotten?
just
Like is that a thing?
it
Because
just it smells like the basement when you live there.
oh, nice, nice, thanks, thanks. That's great. Yeah, but right, it's like, oh, it smells like mildew and must and flood water. It's like, oh boy. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Dana. That's the only thing I could think of. That Dana said where Aaron is. Because remember, he said you haven't been picking up your phone, and the whole reason why he approached her or went to go look for her is because he set her up for anger management because of punching or breaking the lady's nose at Nell's, which is also the name of the bar. And I felt like
Yeah,
if I was
she owns
there,
she
I
owns the
w-
bar.
I was hoping that Rhodey would have just been like, she took a whooping. I don't know if you saw, but it's the lady got on top of M and just started wailing on her, and no one did anything.
But at the same time, Wayne doesn't know that she's a reviver, and it
So
wouldn't
maybe
make much
that's why.
sense
Yeah,
that
maybe
she's
that's
like
why.
completely healed and fine.
But still, people would have. You're an officer. You get witness reports.
That's
Somebody has to
true.
say.
That's true.
Somebody has to say. Oh, yeah, your daughter took a
Her
beating.
nose is broken.
And nose broke,
Arm
everything.
hairs
I
are
mean, it
broken.
was. But then she says she was like, "Oh, I didn't take that much damage. I didn't get hurt that bad." Well, you could have, and da da da. And I'm gonna put you in anger management. In fact, I already did, and that's it. You got an appointment. That was weird. But
So this next part was cool.
yes,
Jordan
what
and
is
Cooper are
going on?
playing in a tent.
Questions. I have a question with this though.
Hmm.
Are, is Dana now the caretaker of Jordan? Is that what's going on here? Because we didn't hear any kind of exchange with the parents about, oh yeah, yeah, take her for a while, or we don't want Jordan anymore. We're giving her up to the state type of situation. We didn't hear any of that.
Maybe
She
they
just
don't even
pops
care
up
if she
here.
doesn't come home.
But that's what I'm saying. We don't. There's no context to why she's here and doing a sleepover. Is this permanent? Is this temporary? Is this until they bring her down to child protective services? I don't know, but either way, she's here, or does Dana plan on adopting her? Because remember, she'd said,
Yes.
you should. This is a blessing. She's back. Just enjoy it. And the parents sort of brushed that off.
Maybe it's something that's not been spoken out, right? And maybe it's just like she wants to spend time because Cooper's the only one that makes her feel seen and normal. And even her parents aren't treating her right. So it's like, I'm not going home. They haven't asked.
Man.
They're not gonna find me. They know I'm probably with Dana. So
This throws another curveball then. You don't have to fill out any paperwork for adoption. She's already deceased. All that's rubbed out. That's it. You're gone. If you come back after that, you're a brand new person. She could change your name if she felt like it. I mean, you live under new rules, I would guess.
it's so funny that I've never seen something like this where it's like some like people come back and it's like not zombies and not anything, but then it's like this is so cool. Like this is cool. It makes for so many different scenarios of how would we approach this.
And we're seeing it already in this. We're already seeing how do you react? How do you function? I mean, the fact that the little girl went back to school the next day, it was like, well, what else do? You just send the kid to school. We still don't know how she died.
Did you do your homework before you died?
Exactly. It was like, oh nope, you didn't. There you go, slacker. I was like, I don't know.
You got left back. Joke's on you.
Right? You get left back. Doesn't matter. I can't. Can they age? We don't even know.
Oh, probably not.
Right? Can they age? Is she always going to be like this? Is this going to be like an interview with the vampire situation? With a little girl. Remember, she got turned to like 13, 14, something like that, and she stayed that way for centuries. Is that what's going to happen for this little one? Because that's
probably. I can see that.
Oh man, that would suck. What if you were a baby? Baby passed away, and then you stay a baby forever. Oh, all right.
Like the SpongeBob, or I mean the Simpsons.
Oh man, but yeah, real quick. So they're I guess in the backyard of Dana's house, Cooper's house, and there's the wooded area there. I don't know if they really showed it, but there's woods in the back. At least in the comics, they show it. It sort of looks like it's all wooded area around where they live. And so they're just in a tent and they're listening to some music. The music starts cutting out. There's a glow. You hear some creepy sound, and I'm telling you, it looked like E.T.'s finger. That's what I saw. What did you see?
I saw like a
you saw a claw? Okay, so you saw a claw.
And she reached her hand out, so as if it was like gonna like they were gonna like touch each other's hands through the tent. And then
they were gonna connect. They're gonna connect. I'm telling you, E.T. Bing, is gonna glow.
Emphasis on glow.
Yeah, the glow happened again.
Before. So is this some like alien thing? Is it a demon? Like what's going on here? Is it some Stranger Things type stuff?
I'm throwing in my guess right now. Some kind of alien activity. Aliens showed up. They produced some kind of radioactive essence when they landed that brought back up not just the people that had died, but maybe other things. Maybe it caused some kind of reaction that just reanimated everything around. Maybe
everyone's cellular activity came back.
Yeah, everything. Yeah, maybe it's something that happened when this alien vessel landed. That's all. Cool. That's all I'm thinking, and that's why it happened. Unless it happens again, and we'll see. It just keeps happening. But we definitely know the date. Remember, December 13th. Dates are starting to matter in this episode.
No,
18th is when the car
later. Yeah.
Was Oh, wait, is it?
No.
In the comments, people, 18 to 13. I'm pretty sure it was 13, but 18 was on the stub for the parking lot.
Which would make sense for what happens next and why we think that's either the day of Revival Day or the night before.
Yep.
I mean, so Ibrahim stops by Dana's house. He's looking for a way to get through to Wayne. And Dana's like, well, I mean, you came to me. I'm his daughter. Like, you think he listens to me a lot? Like, but she's like, her dad's a simple guy. He likes to feel like he's being helpful. Just work your way around that. He's really critical. At least Ibrahim is really critical of how her father is dealing with the revivers, labeling them.
And she gets it. She's on the same boat. But what can you do? The way she sees it is because obviously she knows the father longer than Ibrahim. Her idea is that he's coming in with good intentions. There's no ill will on this whole thing. He's just trying to do what he thinks is right to help everyone because that's what he wants to do.
And I know he feels like Wayne doesn't listen to him or probably take him seriously. And he's looking at it from like a scientific side and also like a humanist side where it's like, look, like these are still real people. Like let's handle this. And then Dana walks into the rooms Cooper's room to see the kids, and they're about to, I guess, go to sleep. And she's like, "All right, time for bed. Cooper, go to bed. Jordan, are you comfortable? Are you ready to go to bed?" And Jordan's like, "I
I
don't
fake
sleep.
sleep. I
I don't
fake
sleep
sleep.
anymore.
She
I
can't sleep.
pretend."
Now, that brings up that question. Is she saying that she just for some reason can't sleep anymore, or she just has no desire or need to sleep? Do people
Yeah,
revive need to sleep? Did
because
it,
M sleeps, right? M is always sleeping,
yeah, she is sleeping. That's right. She is
so it's not like
sleeping.
a reviver thing, I guess. I don't know.
Unless everyone comes back with something different. There's
Hmm.
some other little quirk on them. Like we saw with Arlene with her teeth just growing back.
Hmm.
We don't see any of that going on with other people, at least not yet. So maybe this could be a thing. Jordan can't sleep. She
Yeah,
just
it's like
can't
why
sleep.
would her teeth be growing back unless that old man was pulling her teeth out all the time?
That's man, maybe if they go back to that, I can't imagine that.
Because then if she had dentures when she died, then why would her teeth just be regenerating?
Yeah, no. And then why would her daughter allow her husband to abuse her mom like this?
I hope all these things get answered and they're not
We
continuity issues.
right? Oh, please no. There you go. Then this show just goes downhill real quick. I was like, oh, we're not answering any of this stuff.
But what about this? And the writer's like,
Ah, damn.
oh man.
Oh, we forgot that. I told you we should have cut that scene out. I told you. Now
So
they're gonna ask questions.
Dana walks back into the hallway and they share this little moment. And this is the first time I feel some slight like real chemistry, I guess, between them. And Ibrahim's like, can I take you out for dinner? She's
Yeah,
like, yeah.
because he overheard that whole conversation that she had with the kids, and he feels that she's genuinely a good
Oh
person.
yeah, she was saying some really sweet stuff.
Yeah, she was
What
saying a
did she
lot of
say
sweet things.
again?
She was saying things for the kids and that you're special and the whole thing, and don't worry about this is a safe space. That type
Oh
of
yeah,
deal.
she says she feels there's something wrong within her.
Yeah, something
I don't know if that's
nothing
gonna come
wrong.
back at some
Yeah,
point.
because she feels like something's missing in her, and she was like, I was waiting for her. She's like, and this is why I took that knife from the kitchen, and this is why I just want to keep, jab, 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 jab to Cooper. So as soon as you leave, and like I said, I don't sleep. I mean, do you remember that game, Operation? Do you remember Operation? I'm gonna play with Cooper. Operation. I was waiting for her to get dark and creepy.
I
Maybe,
mean, hey,
maybe
it might
later.
happen.
Yeah, maybe.
Um,
But
Wayne
yeah,
is Wayne is now in the evidence room and he's looking through like some boxes and stuff. And Diane walks in. Do we know Diane
no,
previously?
I
Who's
don't
Diane?
know her. I
He
don't. I
had
have
some
no
fling with
idea.
Diane, or he knows Diane is a friend of hers. I don't know.
She mentions Ken,
So
and
she has a
he was like, "Oh,
husband.
how's Ken?" Yeah, so I'm just filling in my own blanks, and I'm thinking Ken's a husband. Small town, they're friends, and Diane says, "I need you to keep my situation, my secret, off the books." And like, what? No, I mean, it's kind of sad that all these people died that one day, or been dead. But how did he not know?
Something's going on in this town.
Something is going on. I mean, granted, yes, everyone revived the same day, but doesn't mean they all died that same day.
Yeah, I
So
want to know like the time frame because the lady's husband died the night before, the one
yeah,
that she dug him up and
she dug them up. But then with the other ones, like with this one, I don't know. Maybe she died a few days and she was over in the morgue. Or no, he would have known. He would have known. So
yeah, yeah.
wherever she died,
Well,
definitely was.
he was like, how did you die? And she like gave him this look like, so like she
Yeah,
unalived herself. I'm
yeah.
assuming
I guess that, or maybe the husband is abusive. Because maybe she was like, "Come on now,
because I was thinking because
it's me."
they can't mention these things in shows like that most of the time. So
Yeah,
a
yeah.
lot of the times when they're insinuating this, they're looking at each other and they're like,
Well, yeah.
like
Tell that to Squid Game, okay? Tell that to Squid Game, episode 5, or was it episode 5, season 3? That they didn't hide anything on that situation.
but you know, and then she says like, I was there for you. I was your friend when your wife died. We looked
Mhm.
after your daughter. Like we looked at Cooper and we looked at the family and we tried to look after you guys and stuff. Something like that. So she felt that
Yeah.
Wayne owed
Basically, look
her,
the other way. Come on now, I did stuff for you. Look the other way.
but he's like, no, I can't. It
Yeah.
sucks.
Well, we're gonna see if he could hold to that when he eventually. I'm assuming we'll find out about him.
Yeah. Now this next one is such a
Mm,
plot
mm,
twist.
mm,
Of
mm.
course, of course, Aaron's wife is the anger management counselor that happens to be talking to M, who was having an affair with her husband, who she doesn't know about.
She does know.
So she knows.
I think so. The way she brought up everything, she was like, I know what's going on. I know what happened with Aaron. She definitely
No,
knows
because
there's a
Aaron said
connection.
Aaron's like, my wife doesn't know anything. No, she knows that M was was his student, and then she obviously
And was
told Aaron, and then Aaron told her that she's a reviver.
okay.
That's what
So
she
she
said.
knows some of it, but she doesn't know all of it.
Yeah, because he's trying to protect this thing. That's like probably the biggest thing with this. Because
Okay.
she's sick. He doesn't want to tell her that he was cheating on her. Like that makes things way worse.
Yeah. That's true.
And,
I mean, we get a lot of info in this scene, right?
yeah, and she's nice. And you know what is funny is because, and she brings up the point that like when someone in a relationship is sick and having to deal with that and that new relationship that forms and how to not present yourself as feeling like you're the weak person the entire time, and that it makes things a little different. And I myself looked at her like, oh, maybe she's just weak and doesn't know what's going on and this and that. Like, no, she's very observant. So whatever Aaron did, whatever Aaron was doing, maybe she caught on to some of it at some point, I would hope.
I mean, she not only that, M opens up, talks about her condition, her bitter bone disease that she has, right? IO, I think that's what she called it.
OI.
Yeah, OI. That's it. She brings that up, and yeah, it's she doesn't know, because again, one thing that does loop back throughout this episode and pretty much for all these episodes is we're all trying to figure out how this happened to M, and everyone keeps asking, and this is no different, right? She's asking, so how did this happen? She's like, I don't know how this happened, and she goes through and she explains pretty much everything that we already know. So it's just bringing everything back up. It's like,
okay. She also mentions that M's mom had cancer.
Yeah, that is new.
Which is different.
That is new because I guess everyone knows that this lady here, that she is sick, and she starts coughing and she into her arm and the whole thing. But definitely M knows because she's having an affair with the husband, so I'm sure she knows a lot more than
she
just
probably knows
the
all
normal.
about her,
yeah. I mean, I was waiting for the doctor, like, how do you know about that? I could just have a cough. That's the first thing you jump to, that I have cancer because I'm coughing. But no, and she says that her mom had cancer, so double whammy, because mom had cancer and then of course died in the car accident that when M was driving. So
it's terrible life.
It is terrible. Very
Well, terrible way to go. Yeah. Oh my gosh. But the next thing is Alonzo's auto shop, because Blaine had mentioned it earlier that he brought that car that he found by the river. So
I love how everything connects.
Yeah,
I do like that. It's like things are connecting. It's like, all right, she finds the bartender finds the phone. The phone is M. Calls the police. The police shows up. Officer knows, oh wow, I know this phone. Doesn't mention anything about a password, which again takes you back to the back of the days, even with those flip phones. There was no password. You just slide it up and you
which even brings it to this with Alonzo, because he's all against phones and against cell phones.
And what does he say? He says Macintosh. And I'm pretty sure he said HPs.
Yeah.
Or if he did, because again, we don't those Macintosh.
He definitely said Macintosh.
Older ones, yeah. That's an older Mac. I remember working on those old looking tower boxes. That's a thing of the past. But he brings up, doesn't want any of the computers because they give you the rays, right? He's like, the radio ray. You know about these rays? He's like, I don't think you know about these rays, But respect for the guy who's still keeping it old school and has everything done on paper. So
yeah, right,
right. So he keeps his mind
like paper
fresh.
all over the walls to protect himself.
Is that what that's a good question. You pointed that out, and I'm like, well, maybe he's being cheap and doesn't want to get blinds. So he's like, puts newspaper up on the side. The sun,
tape curtains to the wall. I mean, there's multiple ways. Because think about how much effort it had to be to take all this paper and tape it to the walls.
Yeah.
And then light still comes through, so it's not the light problem. It's whatever he thinks it's, or someone seeing what he's doing. I don't know.
I had a friend many moons ago who was he was creative with some things, and the Calvin and Hobbes, if you remember those, the comics and stuff like that, the newspaper clippings and stuff. Anyway, he would cut those out, the comic strips, and then he would tape them up on his upper window where the sun would always shine first. And it was kind of cool because then you can see through and sort of see everything, how the comic plays out. And if you had good eyes, you could read the little print. And I don't know, that was just his thing. But that's what I thought of when I saw this. Oh, newspaper on the wall.
That's creative. I like that.
Yeah, cool way. There you go. We could do that next week in your apartment. So it's like, you know,
the next episode, I just have paper all over.
And then you're gonna be like, wait a minute, where do I get a newspaper? Oh, right. Who buys paper? Where are the newsstands?
There's a lot. I see them a lot. People are buying the New York Post a lot. I see.
Bring it back.
New York
Paper.
Times, so.
Just don't get a paper cut. But yeah, so Dana shows up. She, of course, this guy just gives this whole speech about all this stuff. But what we didn't know is that he also rents cars out. So it's, I think that's all it is, right? This is a rental place, but he doesn't.
No. He's an auto shop because it says auto shop or something on his thing. But I think a part of it is that he gets like junked cars, and his side hustle is probably renting out the cars to people. He doesn't check their credit score. He doesn't check anything. He doesn't care.
If they pay cash.
Yeah, if they pay cash, he's using it as extra money for his daughter's college fund.
Yep. Charge $75. James Andrew was the name the guy gave.
Yeah, James Anderson. And she's like, what was this? She's like, well, can I check the car? He rented out the car for $75. He said he charged an extra fee because the person left the car there.
Yeah, he just abandoned, but at least he told him where it was.
Yeah.
He just didn't bring it back, which is odd.
Yeah. So Dana comes out and she looks through the car, wrappers of tissues. Now I'm wondering if the tissues now relates to someone crying or something. Maybe some, why did you have a bunch of tissues on the ground? And then you find this parking pass or the parking thing, paper
parking
slip.
ticket. Yeah, parking ticket
for the hospital.
See, again, I just love all the little clues. Find sometimes like, oh, where does this go? Find this other piece. Where does this go? And just it makes sense. It's not like she's popping up somewhere and it's like, wait, when did this happen? And then we find out it happened off camera, or oh, I bumped into so and so who told me they saw you. I was like, oh man, I hate when shows do that. When they just sprinkle something in off camera. So all
this is perfect. It's aligning really well. And then from this, Dana goes back to the hospital and she's like, well, can I check the logs of who was visiting during this time? Because, someone parked the car in the lot and was visiting between this time frame. And then she's looking through the names and lo and behold, she finds James Anderson's name. So again, it's the same thing. And then she's like, okay, no. She doesn't find James Anderson. Hold on.
She finds out that with the ticket of who was there, and it was a professor. And that professor always shows up. Because of the wife going through chemo.
Yes.
So there you go. So now things are coming together. So we know he's involved.
So Em and Rhodey are chilling on the couch and having a little romantic moment. They start making out. Things start getting heated. He's like, hey, we don't have to do this. And she's like, no, I want to. So she, gets on top of him. And all of a sudden, as they're embracing and he's kissing her neck, she gets a flashback. And she sees someone like covering her mouth, I guess with chloroform or something, covering her mouth or like gagging her. And she sees like glimpses of the guy's hand, and she sees a ring on the guy's hand. And then she's like, wait. And he's like, well, did I hurt you? And she's like, no. Sorry. She's like, I saw something again. And she takes out the ring and she's like, my killer was wearing this. This is the ring. I woke up with this in my mouth.
So crazy. And I, when that popped up, I was like, oh, I forgot all about that. I thought she knew that ring. I thought that was her ring, or she had some connection, because no one ever brings this up. That's evidence.
She brought up the ring in the beginning because she knew that ring belonged to Aaron. And then she went to Aaron about it, and he was like, oh no, like,
yeah, that's your wedding ring. Yeah, that's what she said. And he's like, no. I never lost my wedding ring.
Did he say that?
Yeah, he said when they were at the bar, he was like, no, that's not mine. I never lost it.
And then he was like, wait, Em, you died and stuff. And that downplayed him. And I was like, okay, maybe. I like how it's darting between all these people that we think are suspects. It's like some Agatha Christie thing. You know what I mean? It's not like just a linear, like, oh, it's this person the whole time. It's like, I think it's this person. no, it's this person. It's back and forth, which is fun. But so they're like, well, we got to
It's
figure out.
Ibrahim. Ibrahim, that's why he's there. The CDC
That would be
guy.
the craziest plot
He
twist.
set all this in motion. He
It was
planted some weird,
Cooper.
right? Oh, the kid, the evil kid, like the Omen.
So she's like, well, okay, we got to find out with this ring. Like, what's the deal with it? So they go to a jeweler. I guess the one jeweler in town who doesn't even seem like he seems like a pawn shop owner. I guess
He's not a jeweler. It's a
What
pawn
is it?
shop.
Oh, it's a
It's
pawn
just
shop. Okay.
they just go straight to a pawn shop. And this is the odd part with all of this is that they bring the ring to the pawn shop and say, "Hey, did you sell this to anyone? Why can't the person just have the ring? Like, you know what I mean? Like, why? What makes you think that this is a pawned item?
Pawned item, yeah.
That
Bro,
is,
he's cheap.
I mean, they got real lucky though. They got real lucky. Think of that. If you found something and you bring it to a pawn shop in
It's
town,
like,
and they're like, I just sold that.
Imagine
How did
Pawn
you
Stars.
find
They're
it?
like,
Right, exactly. A camera crew comes out. We're filming this. This is fantastic. Where did you find this again? You spit this up. Oh, this is amazing. We're going to talk about that right after this commercial break.
did he? But he was like, businesses had to close down during this whole thing. So, please don't rat me out. But he's like, this guy said that he lost his wedding band and he didn't want his wife to notice, which I guess it looked like the same. It's just a generic gold wedding band. So he told me to drop it off at this place, and he left an envelope of cash or something. He never saw the guy.
Nope. All he had was an email because I guess this is how they were corresponding, and that's where that James Andrew, right? Or is it
Anderson?
Anderson? Why do I keep saying Andrew? James Anderson, and it's from the college.
She's like, oh, it's Aaron's TA. Or is it, I'm assuming teaching assistant.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. I don't think we've met that character yet. If we have, maybe in passing quick in that one scene. I keep thinking of when she showed up at the college.
Yeah.
And there was some people there. They could have been students, but maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was a TA.
Then we cut to Aaron in his office. He's freaking out. He's looking through his stuff. It seems like someone already went to his office. So the stuff is thrown everywhere. He's freaking out. It then cuts to him in his house, and he's burning stuff. And also he said some stuff on the phone. He talked to someone, and he was like, "I know, I thought we were in this together. Like, I have evidence on you. I have whatever I have. If I go down, you go down too. Like, don't let me take the fall for this." So he's in on this. Is it the guy in the hood earlier?
Right, Mr. Crispy. It could be Uncle Crispy there.
Crispy.
Yeah, but then the wife. The funny thing is, like, she comes down, she sees what's going on with it. Don't worry, everything is okay. It's okay. You're burning documents in the living room. Things are not okay. They're not okay.
Yeah, because now Dana stopped by the house too, looking for him because she knows that he went to the hospital.
Yeah,
so
because
now everyone's looking. She's like,
Dana
why are the
showed up
here?
at the house. Dana's calling everywhere. Remember, she called the office. She's looking for the professor because he's
like, leave it alone. Go upstairs. Go to bed.
Oh man.
So now we cut to M like shaving her head, and she's having visions of the person holding her face and the ring, and she's seeing all these different clips and stuff, and now she's gun ho like this has to be Aaron.
I was waiting for her hair to just grow back like Arlene's teeth. Like she shaves it and it just like starts coming out again. It's like, oh! It's like, I'm sorry, you died with a full head of hair.
This is a rebellious look. She had to shave the side of her head.
Yeah, I didn't understand the reason behind that, but hey.
But she walked out and Rhodey was like, oh, cool, nice look. And then she's like, I'm gonna go do this. You need to come with me, or do you want to come with me? And he's like, no, I'm not. I don't.
He didn't give an answer, and that was an answer. No answer is an answer. So she was like, that's all right. I don't need anybody. I don't need anyone.
She was like, I don't need you, and I was like, oh. And then she's like, I don't need anyone. I was like,
yes.
Yeah.
But this is it. This is it. While all that's going down, the Czech brothers. Here we go. CM Punk calls his brother and just basically saying that he's trying to get something we brought up before. He needs to get back into town. And he's like, yeah, I know that you're friends. You play cards with that other cop. I think that's the one that we saw that was playing video games. and the
Oh
precinct.
yeah.
Yeah.
With the rat tail.
Yeah, with the rat tail. So I think they're buddies or they play cards or do something together. And the brother was like, yeah. I still hang out with him. He said, good. Figure out a way to get me across the border. I got to get back in. And something about the operation, not the operation, like a business deal, it might go
Yeah,
south.
his boss wants them to get in, and they
Yeah,
like what he's been
he's
doing.
got to get in. Now, again, call back to the time period because he's on a payphone. And a guy comes up and is like, hey, I got to make a call and this whole thing, it's emergency or something like that. And CM Punk just turns around. Phil Brooks, that's his real name. And but we'll call him CM Punk. And he just says, what? Oh, yeah, you got that. He just starts beating him on the head with the phone. And it's a bloody mess. And just says, all right, just figure something out. Get me back in. And then hangs up. So there we go. There's going to be more to it, but I think this is his role. I think what we suspected before is that the Cheek family, they deal with drugs. No surprise. That's where the roommate was getting her drugs from. And he's the older brother. Right? His name is Tony also. I think that was it. What was it?
Anthony, Tony.
Tony, whatever. They called them both of them. So who knows?
It's Anthony, Tony, Anthony, Andrew, and Adam. All A's.
Yep. All A's. Right. And so he left the town where he went out there so he can do the deals to bring the drugs into town. And then the whole quarantine and everything happened. And now he's stuck out and trying to get back in. So we'll see how that pans out. But then that was it for him.
Yeah,
it was like, that was it. It was like, oh, wow, what else is going to happen? A whole lot of nothing.
Ibrahim shows up at Dana's house for the date. He's dressed in, a nice suit, not suit, but like a tie. Dana comes out looking all nice. He's like, whoa. And she's like, what? Like in a bad way? Like he's like, I thought you'd be in uniform. I don't know.
Well, also, who's gonna watch Cooper? Because Cooper was there. Okay, again with this whole thing, and is Jordan still there?
Jordan's watching Cooper.
Right, Jordan's watching Cooper. She said, "We're gonna play Operation when you leave. I can't guarantee that Cooper will be alive. He might be revived. I don't know. I have a feeling she's gonna do something creepy."
Yeah, well,
she has to. She has to. She doesn't sleep.
Starts crawling on the walls and stuff.
Right? Think if you're sleeping and then you crack your eyes open and this little girl's just staring at you.
I have that with my girlfriend all the time. She's standing over me.
I don't need to hear. Oh, that's even worse. That's even worse. She's like, finally, you woke up.
No,
and she had your wallet in her hand, and then she was like,
each breath.
Oh man, exactly. I counted all of them. You slept for 4 hours, 32 minutes, and 23 seconds. Your eyes kept twitching. Were you thinking about me? It's like, oh boy. But boom.
Yeah. So we get Aaron. Aaron's like again on the phone with somebody. He's like, I know it was you. I kept my end of the deal. You're snooping around my house. I didn't tell anyone. Don't forget, I could take you down with me. Again, he's coming at him. Then he texts Dana. Texts Dana, and they're already in the car going to like the lobster date that she wants to go on. And he tells me, he basically says to her, wait, I read it. Saying go to the woods and I'll tell you what happened. Yeah,
kind of creepy.
So Dana has Ibrahim drive to the woods, and then she's like, all right, like right here. And he's like, well, this doesn't look like a place to go eat. And she's like, I'll be right back. Pulls up her dress, and she has like a little like
pistol. She's packing. An officer's always packing.
He's like, you brought your gun on a date? Why?
So why not? We got
or pew pew, as we're supposed to say.
Yeah, there's always something going on in this town, so why not? But yeah, then we see M. She's got her mask on. She's looking creepy.
She's got a nice hoodie with a skull on it. She's all like dark.
I was expecting something. I mean, they should do a little more with this, because with the haircut and the new outfit and all this.
Well, I was waiting for some expand on it.
Yeah.
But Aaron turns around and he's like, oh, whoa, what are you doing here? Were you following me? And she's like, what did you do to me? And she grabs him and she chokes him and she lifts him up against a tree.
Her eyes changed.
Yeah.
right? I
Oh, I
could have
didn't see
swore,
that.
or if it was the reflection of the light, or I swore it looked like
She
something
just had
happened to
pure
her.
anger, but she was strong.
She
She
got
was
that
strong. She
strength.
was lifting him up. He was like, like against the tree, and then
I was
they
waiting to see a crow in the background, just like pecking. Like this is a crow. It's a sub spin off. It's like,
then she lets go of him, and he's like choking. He's like, "Look, I didn't mean to hurt you. It's just that there's more to it. I didn't kill you. I did take you away from there, but I didn't kill you." And then before he could even finish saying what we all wanted to know, we hear a gunshot, and we're thinking, "Okay, Dana did this. Dana did this. Like what
because she
happened?"
shows up. She shows up with
Yeah,
the
she
gun.
shows up with the gun in hand. Aaron drops to the ground. She's like, "Oh my gosh." And then Dana's standing with her, and she's like, "What is it?" And she's like, "I don't know. Like, I don't, there's probably more to this with Aaron. Like, what happened?" And then they hug each other, and they're like, "Okay, it's okay." And then we hear another gunshot, and I'm thinking like, "Okay, did Dana's gun go off? What's going on?" We M backs up. We see a blood stain appearing on her chest. She's looking down. She looks at Dana. Dana's looking at her, and then Dana looks down and sees a bullet hole. So the bullet hole went through her into, or
Well, the shooter was
from
behind
behind
Dana,
Dana. Yeah.
so went through Dana into M.
Dana M picks up the gun, shoots it at the guy. You hear the guy get shot, so that's gonna play into something.
Does he get shot, or does he
He
just like get startled? Like maybe the
No, he got
shot
shot in
came
the
from-
arm.
Okay.
But yeah, he got shot in the arm, and then because you see you hear the shot, and he winces, and then he like runs off. So that's definitely gonna be something to mark him later on. And then
Oh man.
poor Dana's just looking at him like, you know,
So the question is, all right, so now that Dana's dead, they have to remove her from all the promotional material.
no.
They have to maybe she's a ghost. Maybe they pull a ghost situation. Like, of course not. No, she can't be dead. But how does she survive?
Cliffhanger. They
Cliffhanger.
show her gasping. The camera's panning away. She's just
She's
looking up. She's
gasping.
turning
Yeah.
colors.
At first, I was thinking, let's say if it was the other way around. Let's say the bullet went through M first, then traveled into Dana, then maybe whatever is inside M transferred
Regenerates
on
her?
the bullet
Oh.
into Dana, you know.
That'd be cool.
But yeah, but it didn't work that way. It looked like Dana got shot first, and then it went into M. So
Cliffhanger, man. Wow.
cliffhanger, or what we also don't know, because we haven't seen anyone try to do that. What happens if you pour like reviver blood, like a blood transfusion, into a non-reviver?
Well, it leads back to that whole idea with the soil and the moss that you brought up before.
Yeah.
So it could be something with that, because remember in the last episode when Ibrahim was in his lab, in his lab, and the moss was like flipped over or whatever, like regenerating or growing more. I mean, there could be something to this. Yeah.
And
I hope
also
so.
they're in the woods. So maybe something happens in the woods. She lays on the ground and the ground heals her. That could be something. That could be something. I don't know.
So part of me wonders if they leave the town, would they die? Like, is there something just in the town that keeps them alive and regenerating? You know
Yeah,
what I
that
mean?
could be a thing too. Yeah, if you go too far from the power of the source that's giving them life, what if that's it? There's some kind of special cell or something that's within
This
that
story could go
area.
so many ways.
Oh,
And that's
there's
what I
so
love. It's
many.
not predictable at all right now, which
Yeah,
is great.
there's a
I
bunch
like
of different
that.
ways it can go. Bunch of different ways to go. But the only way they're going right now is forward, because next week is episode 5.
That was
So
good. I like that.
there we
That was good the
go.
way you
Dun,
did
dun,
that.
dun.
Let's
That's a
go.
segue. Yeah. So thanks again, people. If you made it this far, please hit that like, subscribe. We'll be back for episode 5 of Revival, and we will see what happened. Did she die? I doubt that. I don't think anyone thinks she did. But the question now is, how does she get revived? How does that happen?
She's definitely they're gonna scream, and Ibrahim's gonna show up or something.
Right. He's gonna see, unless you know what if we're overthinking it And that's exactly what happens. Ibrahim comes
take her
in.
to the
He's a
hospital.
doctor. He's like, I can fix this. I got some stuff. She carries a gun. I carry a med bag. I don't know.
I have this moss from my lab. Apply it.
Exactly. Yeah, apply it. We're gonna use this like to close up the wound or to figure something out. I don't know. It'll be interesting. But either way,
What do you think, guys? Drop the comments down below. Tell me
yeah,
what
go ahead. Share your thoughts. What's going on with this show? Are you liking it so far? I'm liking it. It's different. It's interesting. So all right, everybody. We will see you next week for episode 5. All right.
Thank you.
Have a good one and have a good 4th of July.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.